So now we're down to the last topic in this lesson about how a distributed financial system that we literally have now, how we can use that to solve world problems. And it's just to me, a really great moment. So inside of the vegan financial world, there are other platforms, and they're part of the general set of platforms. They're kind of, right now, what I'm talking about exists as kind of deal shopping platforms, and you can hear from my tone of voice that the deal shopping platforms, obviously we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing if they didn't exist, but that's not the end game, is looking for vegan deals. And I'm not looking to have every single vegan be a member. Obviously that would be wonderful, but what I'm really looking for is people who want to be leaders in the field of creating investment products for the larger markets. So, you know, that's why I've made this course. This course is, if we can train 100 people, if we can train 1,000 people in what's in this course who want to use these tools to organize financially, we can really move the whole world. Because right now, that kind of financial organizing is happening only really in offices on Wall Street and in Singapore and places like that, with a handful of people who went through a more, we'll call it, aristocratic path. Going to the right school, going to the right job, the right investment bank. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm not criticizing people for that. It's just there's a problem with that. And why I never did that. Given my interest, you'd think I should have done that. But I never did that because I didn't want to learn finance from people that are willing to destroy the planet to make a buck. And finding somebody who can teach you how to do that, well, you're here. I'm teaching you how to do that. You're not going to find that in the universities. You're not going to find that in the offices on Wall Street because they come from a different perspective, that profit is the indicator that you're doing the right thing. It's not. Financial profit is not the indicator, but it is an indicator of your ability to go forward, right? Profit is part of nature. Again, as we've discussed, you plant an apple tree. Over time, you get a recurring crop of apples. That's your profit. So I'm not against profit, but I'm not for profit being the lead value of our culture. The lead value of our culture needs to be human health, animal rights, and sanctity of our environment. And so we put profit second to that. And when you do that, oddly, you can make a lot more profit. That's the thing that they don't understand. And I've understood that since I was a kid, because you can look around, you can see the examples of that if you look. And we're not going to drill into those here, but there's billions and billions of dollars of transactions to demonstrate that. And in earlier topics in this class, in this course, I've gone into the mechanics of how cultural awareness changes the profit framework of any enterprise. So we're using that one basic principle here. Okay, so distributed leadership. So what we need is people who can say, okay, I get how the financial system is being popularized, we'll say. A lot of times people use the word democratize. I just don't really like that word because where is there really a democracy in our world? But the idea of the power to create financial offers and distribute them to your peers, we have that now. And we didn't have that for the last 87 years, 88 years. So we are at this really interesting turning point where, for whatever reason, those in power have decided and agreed that it's important, even to their survival, to share financial power in this way. And that's their gift to us, and our job is to use that gift and to make the world a better place. And again, why does this matter? Because people do things inadvertently that are not in their best interest, as we described earlier. Right? We take farms and convert them into subdivisions. The subdivisions harden the watershed and create flooding. I mean, we're doing things so unconsciously as a culture, and those of us that can look at the bigger picture, it's up to us to create better solutions. And the thing is, if we rely on the people in Washington or in Beijing or Moscow or wherever, in Brussels, let's just say they have a narrow view. And if we want to solve problems, we need to solve the problems where they're happening. We don't want to only finance unicorns. If we need a vegan restaurant on the corner of 6th and Main, and that vegan restaurant needs, $1 million or $500,000 or $50,000 or whatever country it is, in the U.S. it's $1 million. If you do it in India, maybe it's 50,000. We should do that. With the Vegan Launch platform and with this training that I'm giving, you can be a financial leader. I'm creating a leadership platform for you. Just like today, you can look at Airbnb, again, for better or worse. We just have to look at there's always a better and there's always a worse. Somebody will identify the worst of what we do at some point, but we haven't grown enough to face that kind of evaluation yet to understand what negative might happen from this. But anyway, Airbnb is a platform that empowered people to make money off of standing assets. And then because of that, it led to people literally creating arrangements, whether bulk rental arrangements or buying property specifically to use that platform to generate revenue. So that's an empowering platform. And Vegan Launch, and it's a very populist platform because it put the right or the capacity to do those transactions in the hands of everybody. Because before that, running your own bed and breakfast required all kinds of things: your own marketing, your own monetary transactions. And so by consolidating all those things into one platform, that freed up a lot of people to jump into a business model that would have otherwise been too difficult for them. Same with Vegan Launch. It does two things. It empowers the individual founders to raise capital for their companies, which is working. And now, in this iteration of Vegan Launch, 3 years into the business, 3.5 years into the business, we're now reaching the point where we can train citizen financiers to go and take responsibility for a whole city. So to do what I'm doing, you could say, to break the global responsibility for financing the vegan economy into doable units. As many people want to take up the leadership mantle of finance, you can do that. So if you're in this program, I invite you to consider that possibility, but you don't have to. It's plenty just to be a member, whether you're a supporting member and you just want to read a newsletter and invest when a deal comes together, or you want to be an activist member and be more involved in the development of the founders' projects. That's now even that is distributed. Or you want to take on a bigger responsibility and look at whole categories. As we said in one of the earlier videos in this lesson, like you want to be in charge of veganizing the entire $600 billion dairy industry. That can be done on this platform as well. And the Vegan Launch platform, because it's a community-based platform that's wholly inclusive. It's not like other platforms in the vegan finance space. It's much more like if we look at some of the investment clubs, it's like an angel investment club, but those clubs are by themselves elitist. And I'm not against elite people. I'm not against populist people. If we're going to solve the world problems, we all have to work together just as people. So I invite wealthy people to participate. We have lots of benefits for them, and I invite people with less money to be involved because we have lots of benefits for them as well. And so what's the difference between Vegan Launch and, say, the Harvard Business School Angel Capital Club? Well, to be a member of that club, you have to be an accredited investor. Um, so that takes over a third of the capital in the vegan community off the table. So with Vegan Launch, because we're using public venture capital, now the general public can be directly involved in helping these founders succeed. Where that privilege was by law not allowed only a few years ago. And really because of the technology and the evolutions of law of this year, this is really the year that the real potential is unleashed. That's why I really focus on this building of the community platform, because we now have the kind of regulations and technology to have a true community who can really make a difference. So whatever role, but what you want to be involved in, however little or much, now there's a way, and that's my style of leadership is really that. Anybody who has any inkling of being a leader, join, participate, engage, and you can lead at whatever level you want. You can organize whatever project you want. And to me, that's the cool thing. That's what I've really envisioned in a way my whole life, but especially in my 20-year journey of public venture capital, learning how that works. And again, the price crash from $5 million to have public venture capital to basically, it's you'd be surprised at how little I've spent to get Vegan Launch to this stage. And that's a beautiful thing. That means that we can solve a lot of world problems. The model that we're developing for Vegan Launch, distributed leadership, distributed financial leadership, can apply to so many different realms other than the vegan centric realms. I know we're all caring people, but if you think out in the world of other issues that need to be resolved, it would make sense to have this kind of platform design for other sub niches that are not being handled well by the current state of affairs, whether government or business or nonprofits. What's missing, what's been missing, again, it's been for 87 years, what's been missing or 88 years, has been a people's financial, the people's ability to finance things they want. Now we can. So again, this is not just a shopping site. This is a place for people. You want to shop? That's fine. But if you want to get involved and really help design the economy, this is for you as well. And that's distributed financial leadership. And it just has again, given the trillions of dollars of public assets in the hands of our vegan cohort, again, 3 trillion in the hands of vegans. If you include environmentalists, that zooms up to 30 trillion. So there's no shortage of money. All we need now is creativity. And I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you'll get involved and create the world that you want to be in. So thanks for watching. Thanks for going through this lesson, and I will see you in the next lesson.